Yeah. Right on. And I guess, we'll touch on this. I know you can't answer this, but a lot of people ask me about it. Information about the beta.
Yeah.
It's coming, correct?
Yes, information about the beta will come to people. I'm in a very tricky spot. I want to tell people about it, but I can't. But information about the beta will come. Medal of Honor people, don't be scared. You will play the beta. We've said it's an open beta in September, and that's pretty much what I can say. But it's an open beta.
Right. Keep tuned. Maybe August 17th ish.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, that's good. So, is there any other kind of improvements or changes to matchmaking or team balancing on the different consoles and PC?
Well, as I said, we learned a lot from the older titles, even Bad Company 2 and Medal of Honor. We learned a lot of stuff about the hit reg, about the hitboxes, about the netcode. I do have to say this, that I'm not a software engineer and I'm not a data analyst or whatever it's called, so I can't really answer your question in depth. And I'm pretty sure that only 5% of the people actually listening to the podcast would understand if a software engineer started explaining things to you about the netcode. Right. People want to hear that it's improved. How is it improved? If I just tell people that, okay, this thing is improved, it's a lot better now, it's going to be better for Battlefield 3, people are going to ask me how. Now, 10% of the people are actually going to be very, very interested on hearing how. And out of these 10%, 9% of the people are going to drop out after 10 seconds if a software engineer tells them how it actually has improved. But it has improved. That's all I can say. We are improving it. Battlefield 3 is the biggest title we're shipping. So, of course, things need to be of top quality. Even though single player is a big aspect of Battlefield 3, multiplayer is an even bigger aspect because that's what we're basing the game on. So, of course, the multiplayer is going to be very important for us, and it's going to be very important for us that people actually get a good first experience of the game when they first actually get the package and they install it on their PC and or put it in their Xbox or PS3s. We want people to have a really good online experience the first time they jump on.
Right. Yeah, and I hope EA's putting together some extra servers because I imagine there's going to be a pretty big crush on day one.
Yes. I mean, usually you anticipate how much server load there's going to be, how many servers you need to have, how many regions and that kind of stuff. So, all of that stuff is being done. We're assessing how the game preparations, the game launch preparations are going to be. But it's actually very difficult to say. I mean, basically, it's all just guesswork, I would say.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
you can go based on pre-orders and stuff like that. But
yeah, and good thing that we actually have a good team at DICE who's been doing launch readiness stuff for years now. They actually know how to assess stuff. So my big guess, I'm saying guess because we're not in October yet, but my big guess is that the launch is going to be smooth for people in October.
Yeah, well, you guys, like you said, you're learning more every release, every game. Learned a lot from Medal of Honor, a lot from Bad Company 2, so...
Yes.
Should be good.
Yes. So, differences between consoles and PC? Is anyone going to ask me that?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people are going to ask it. Well, generally speaking, no. There are no differences. They're compromised because of technology, pretty much. The PC, I mean, this is the biggest difference now. The PC is gonna, it's gonna shine because it has all the raw power. It's a strong powerhouse. It's a PC, right? It's a high-end PC. Mm-hmm. It's gonna shine with the raw powers, and it's not gonna compromise any features or graphics, But the console, on the other hand, there will be some compromising of the graphics on the console, not the features, because that's still the Battlefield core mechanic. Consoles are still, I mean, they're old machines. They are not high-end PCs. And even if you own a PC that is not high-end, and you're trying to run BF3, you might experience some difficulties running it on a 64-player map or on this huge map, and depending on what you want to do. I remember I had a not-so-good machine. I couldn't play 64-player maps in BF42, like back in the days. So the biggest difference is pretty much that you can scale your PC pretty much. You can make your PC really high-end, which you can't with consoles.
Right. Yeah, just limitation of the hardware.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Now, I know you've talked a little bit about the whole 64 players on PC and 24 on console or everything like that. Can you talk a bit more about number of flags or capture points at this point, or is that kind of still up in the air?
That's still up in the air, but it also depends on what map it is.
Right.
Pretty much. You played Operation Metro at E3, right? The Rush map.
Correct.
And that is, I mean, I've seen some threads coming up that, oh no, man, this map is way too small. And this map is not small. It's a pretty big map.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people have been doing layout stuff on the map. They've been copy-pasting it on top of Karkin, on top of heavy metal, and that kind of stuff. I haven't spoken with our level designers, but that map is big. It's a big map. And it's pretty much, it's a journey through a park area, through the subways, and up to the bank area. So it's a very big map.
Right. And it's, you know, what we were kind of thinking of, you know, when Don't Blink and I were playing it after, we're like, oh, you know, it's not a huge map. But then we were thinking after, well, you're going to stick 16 people on a huge map. They're going to be playing at E3 for 45 minutes. You know, maybe you can't show that at this point. I hope people understand that you guys just can't. Here's everything we're doing. You know.
Yeah, and we're picking a map that's very versatile. We're picking a map that where you play it. You actually have to change your play style a lot when you play it. In the park area, it's a very open area. When you go down to the subway, you almost get a claustrophobic feeling. It's, you know, it's very, very close combat. Knife kills are very frequent in the tunnels. It's very, very up close and in your face, as opposed to the park area. When you come outside of the subway in the bank area, it gets open again. So you really need to switch your game style all over again. You need to like switch classes from pretty much death to death. So that's why we pretty much picked it, because it's a very cool map.
Yeah, exactly. And when you go in the subway, that like so amazing with the whole individual lights you can shoot out and the flashlights and stuff like that. I thought it was a great map to actually showcase the lighting aspect in the Frostbite 2 engine. Yeah. So definitely looking forward to more.
And regarding the Paris map, I mean, limitations, we don't really have any on this map that you played. It's a very big map with the different sections. I mean, as I said, it's a voyage, and it's a rush map. In Conquest, the maps will be deeper. They will be bigger. And with deeper, I mean more depth. We don't make sandbox just for the sake of making sandbox map. We make sandbox map to fill them with quality, to fill them with gameplay, good gameplay stuff, pretty much. The game needs to flow. You can't come to a halt and then it stutters on. It needs to continuously flow. And also you'll have vehicles on the other maps, helis, jets, tanks, and everything. So maps will be very big in Battlefield.
Mm-hmm. And even in that Operation Metro map, I believe Lars said could fit 4 team deathmatch maps on that map, so that's pretty decent size.
Yes, and I want to quote Patrick Bach on this, because he said it in a very straight way. He said that Battlefield 3 is going to have the biggest maps you've ever seen, and there's no better way of saying it than he did, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, people are going to love big maps.
That's what sets Battlefield apart, yep.
Yeah, but these big maps, they need to have gameplay enticing things. They need to flow. That's what's most important. You can't just have big maps and nothing happens. There need to be action points. There needs to be stuff happening on the maps.
Exactly. So I know one of your favorite questions that we can quickly skip over. From the community, will Battlefield 3 be more amazing than Titan mode on 2142?
I didn't even understand. Oh yeah, you translated the question now.
I translated it?
Oh yeah, because the first question was insane. I didn't even understand anything. Titan mode on 2142. It was good. I like Titan mode. Battlefield 3 is of course going to be more amazing.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I tried to pick some interesting questions from the post on DRMB. So, and a lot of people want to know how the knife works.
Yes, the knife. There are two ways of using the knife. There's a quick knife. And there's you can equip the knife as well. So you can what it means is that you equip the knife pretty much as it says, and you run with it. You try to get your dog tags and knife kills. And the other one being a quick knife. And if you knife someone from the front, it usually takes 2 strokes or so. And if you knife him in the back, you'll get a cool knife animation. You'll get the dog tags.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm looking very forward to after getting knifed over and over again after moving to PC. Right, Colin?
Yes. Go to hell, Chris.
We were just playing earlier.
He took my dog tags.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate it. But no, that's cool because... like especially on PC with like the by default having your middle mouse button as the knife, the one hit kill and the lunge when somebody can just kind of panic out and hit that middle mouse button, it's a little bit ridiculous. And I mean, it happens to me, but I do it to people all the time. I get kills I shouldn't. Like they're rushing at me with an SMG and I just take them down. So it's very cool to hear. It's a multiple hit kill from the front. Great.
So we had, the key setup at E3 and DreamHack was that the quick knife was on the F button.
Mm-hmm.
So you just pull it out and knife people with it, pretty much.
Yeah, it worked pretty well. I was trying to. Your poor Romanian. Were they play testers? Is that kind of their title?
Yeah.
That we were playing against. Were they told to go easy?
Oh, they're QA people, by the way. It's called QA. Yeah. The funny thing is that sometimes, I mean, these people play the game loads. They're pros at what they do, and they quality test the game just tons and tons of hours. So they're naturally good. Sometimes, depending on when it is and who plays, we tell them to please slow the tempo down, but usually we don't.
Right. Yeah, I noticed they were... Well, I got knifed once. They took my dog tags once after I was rushing trying to grab another one, so fair enough. But yeah, like it's shaping up to be a really good game, and I know everybody wants more information. It's only June.
Yeah.
Only July, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's July, right. Yeah, there will be more information coming along. I mean, we just came back from E3, we just came back from DreamHack, and the team needs time to actually work on the game before we show something. The people are naturally going to ask me, what, you haven't worked on the jets, you haven't worked on this and this, the game is soon to be shipped. Yes, the game is soon to be shipped, and we're working on these things. And by working, it doesn't mean that they're not finished. It means that we're polishing, we're trying to improve things. We're not going to show any footage just because we want to show footage. If we show footage, we want it to be perfect. We want it to be the way you see it on the screen, on the trailers or whatever. That's how we want the game to play.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to show anything until we're very, very confident that this is it. We're really happy with this. We're going to show it.
Yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a dangerous game to play if you show something or confirm something and then have to take it back.
Yeah, that would be
cause a lot of
devastating.
issues.
Yes.
Right. Excellent. So, are you up for taking questions from the live stream?
Yes, sure.
We can find.
I mean, yes, please.
Yeah.
Please give me some questions.
Nothing specific. It's only July. Dinosaur mode.
Any extra points for a nutshot? No. Steam download. We'll be commenting on the different stuff later on.
No extra points for a nut shot, but you do get a damage boost, right? That's a request that I definitely put in officially. So.
Yeah, how's the rank system? The rank system is going to be awesome. You can rank up for ages, pretty much. Without going into specifics.
Right. That's something you talked about a long time ago, about how you kind of learnt from Bad Company 2 on the rank system.
Yeah.
They didn't expect people to hit it to 50 so fast.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and, I mean, after level 20... where were all the unlocks? You couldn't unlock anything after level 20.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing in BF3, we're making the game. You know, we want to make the game so that you will play the game more. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, right. You want to rank up more. You want to play the game more. You want to advance in the ranks.
There's going to be more carrots dangled in front of us to incent us to rank up beyond, you know.
Yes,
a day's playtime.
Yeah. Dangled in front of you, Colin.
Let's see. Different game modes. You guys are announcing different game modes later, correct? You've got the 3.
Yes, we've announced Rush, Conquest, and Team Deathmatch.
That will be exciting for the other ones.
And people asking, so why only 32 players on Rush? Why don't you have 64 players on Rush? That's insane. Battlefield is 64 players. That's what you've been telling us. But yes, 64 players is... You're going to have 64 players on Conquest. I mean, not console. They're going to have 64 players on Conquest. But 64 players on Rush would just turn it into a huge meat grinder.
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't work.
It'd be impossible to win games on attacking.
Yes, pretty much. And you would say that, well, why don't you make additional crates? And you might as well ask, why don't you change your core mechanic?
Right.
Because that is the scope of Rush. That is the core mechanic of Rush, to have 2 crates to arm and defend.
Mm-hmm.
If you go away from that, it's no longer Rush as we know it in Battlefield. It's going to be something else. And why would we make something else and call it Battlefield?
Right.
It still needs to be Battlefield. That's the game we're making.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of crates, and this is something obviously you won't go into much detail about, but we did notice that the crates look different than Bad Company 2. Does that tie in with the story of Battlefield 3 at all?
I can't say anything about the single player right now, but pretty much why the crates look different is, to my knowledge, is that it's Battlefield 3. It's not Bad Company 2.
I guess everyone's so used to Bad Company 2.
Yeah. It was an awesome game. BC2.
Yes, for sure. Let's see, what other questions we got here?
And we're
why is it released later? That's probably a marketing thing.
Yeah, what we said so far is 25th.
Right.
And that's the release date that has been coming from us at EA and DICE.
Any comment on different weapons for the factions?
I can't comment on that right now.
From what we've seen, there is, but obviously that can change.
Everything can change overnight.
Everything can change.
No, I'm being really serious. I mean, since the game is still in development, stuff can change. That's why when I don't comment on anything, it's pretty much because either it's still secret, and why is it still secret? Because we're working on it. We're changing it. It's pretty much. I mean, you can see it as when we did patches for Bad Company 2. Why didn't we really comment on stuff that we wanted to patch? It's because we actually wanted to take it into the studio. We wanted to see if it works. We wanted to see if it's going to be a huge gameplay changer or not when we make the patch, and then we will roll out the information. That's pretty much why. Because it's still under development. We need to try it out. We need to test it. We need to play test it in the studio. That's why you have play tests, pretty much. So talking about jets and that kind of stuff is too early right now. We want to let the footage we've already put out sink in. We want to work with the stuff we're working on, and then we will roll it out.
Right. Do you find maybe it's... sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you've alluded a couple of times when we were talking like esports and whatnot to a battle recorder. and that sort of thing, is there any information, and I'm probably going to get a no comment, but is there any information available around the possibility of a battle recorder or a theater mode with the Frostbite 2 engine in Battlefield 3?
Oh, this is such a difficult question, Colin.
Us guys who like making videos are just foaming at the mouth to find out about this. So
let's.
I gotta ask it. I'd be irresponsible of me to not ask it, but I can appreciate that I might not get anything out of you.
Let's say this. Esports is something that we focused on, and that's why we were at DreamHack. We love the whole esports feeling. I love it, and loads of other people in the studio love the esports feeling, the whole team feeling. BF2 was used as an esports game a lot, even though we didn't really have an aimed support or aimed dedication towards making it an esports game. It was just the sign of the times that fit into the esports scene at that time 6 years ago. What we're doing now, though, is that we're trying to have support for eSport in BF3 without saying too much. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to talk about any features and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's an answer.
That's a little bit of an answer.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it an answer, but I'll take it.
No, I know. Everybody tells me to go hard on you, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean, there is stuff I can
them,
say and not say. I mean, people just need to. I mean, I can't say everything. People don't work in the studio, and if you would work in the studio, you would actually understand how much dev time is being put down on decisions that might make it, they might not make it. This will change the game. No, this will not change the game. I mean, everything is an issue of balance, and we have so many talented people that have been working with us ever since the BF42 days. So I really feel for the people that really want to know more stuff, especially the people want to know about the PC requirements because they need to save up on a lot of cash and that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, there is not really anything new I can say right now.
No, I understand, and I mean the community need to realize, you know, you're here during your evening voluntarily, and we have had some discussions back and forth before the podcast, and there are things that, you know, we can't. Well, I mean, we can ask the questions, but we're not going to get answers. So there's a couple I wanted to throw out there just because people have been harassing us about it like crazy. But I can appreciate that. You know, there are some things, some information is just not going to be able to be released, and I'm sure that there's. We talked about this last time you were on. You know, I'm sure there's very strict NDA policies all over the studio right now around the game in general. So.
Yeah, around the games industry in general, because I mean, the games industry is more competitive now than it was. Let's say, even 6 years ago, it's way more competitive now than it was. It's pretty much. It's the second golden age of gaming right now, where all these game companies are popping up. The game magazines are becoming bigger than usual. The older news outlets, like the traditional news outlets, are covering the games industry more than ever. Our general manager Carl Magnus was on the Wall Street Journal. I think it was 2 months ago. You couldn't imagine that 5 or 6 years ago. But now it's being realized. I mean, people are actually seeing the games industry as something really big. I don't know if you guys saw the EA press conference with John Riccitello a few months ago when he spoke about advertising within games. Advertising within games has been with the EA Sports franchise for some days, or for some years, but it has steadily increased. So this goes to show how big the industry has gotten. And it's also a very competitive industry, which means that you need to keep your ideas for yourself. If you play out all your cards right now, who knows what will happen?
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We've got you wanting to tell everybody as much as possible, but at the same time, you do have competitors that you're going head-to-head with, you know, this fall. So you can't exactly let everything slip and